John and Sally are enjoying a day at the beach.
Oh, boy.
She is also enjoying John's day at the beach. But while Sally goes off to get them some food, we learn that the lady isn't just ogling.
Hi.
Why?
I've been watching you, and I have a proposition.
Oh?
I'd like you to take off your clothes.
You're joking?
No,
Why would I want to do that?
for money. $500.
She's the editor of a woman's magazine. She wants to do a spread with John as the centerfold. After Burt Reynolds did it for Cosmopolitan in 1972, spoof stories like this abounded. Reynolds did it purely for a lark. He thought it would be funny. And if we're talking about the infinite range of people's reactions to it, he was right. Some called him an angel, others said he was in league with the devil, and that one photo was going to destroy American culture. Instead, for several years, it created an entire subculture that revolved around making fun of it the way we're doing here. And I have to admit, this lady could pick a worse subject than John Davidson. Too bad he has to tell her no. She leaves her number with him in case he changes his mind.
Here we go.
Oh, thanks.
Wouldn't take your clothes off, huh?
You ought to work for the CIA.
Well, she was willing to pay you $500.
You don't think I should have told her I'd do it, do you?
Of course not. I think you should hold out for $1,000.
She's only half joking. They'd just been talking about wanting to take a vacation to Hawaii, but they don't have the money. $500 in 1973 was enough to get them there, let them have plenty of fun, and come back. Is the vacation worth doing something like this?
Sydney! 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 Sydney!
You know, you really ought to think about it, John. It is becoming fashionable.
It's fashionable if you're 2 feet tall or less, but John can't stop thinking about it.
John, since you're not going to do it, why don't you quit thinking about it?
Yeah. You have to admit it is flattering, Sal. Besides, I think it's useful for someone to examine one's attitudes.
Well, you don't have to examine your attitudes. You and I both know the real reason why you're not going to do it.
Well, I've told you some of the reasons.
Yeah, some of the reasons, but not the main one. And that is that you're just incredibly modest.
He has a thing about nudity. He won't walk around the house in his birthday suit, that sort of thing. The only time his own wife has ever seen him naked is in bed. Nobody will use this word, but he's a prude.
You just happen to have a thing about nudity, that's all, John. But I can accept that. I can live with it. It just would have been a great trip to Hawaii.
John says, I'll earn my money the usual way. The next day, Mr. Metcalf is putting him in charge of another client. He's hoping for a new account that's coming on board, but Metcalf says, no, I'm giving you this other existing account.
Walter Danforth? Isn't he one of our older clients?
Yes, and as you know, he's a very conservative old gentleman. So we thought the two of you ought to get along just fine.
He's not sure why yet, but that word conservative stung him a little. He says, I was hoping for the new guy. Metcalf says, we don't see the two of you getting along. Too much personality difference.
We just think with this new client there'd be a personality conflict.
But I've never met the man.
No, but we have. And he's what is known as, I believe the term is, a swinger.
So, what's the problem?
Well,
The problem is he's a swinger and you're not. Metcalf says, you're a solid, hard-working, steady young man. You are not familiar with this guy's world.
Mr. Metcalf, I may surprise you someday. You know, appearances can be deceptive.
oh, I agree. I mean, you don't look square.
I dispute that. To someone like me who's never even bought a full suit in his life, he looks as square as Bizarro World. And John has suddenly realized that square is a four-letter word.
Well, I think it's a rough deal, too, but that old man is right about one thing. You're not the biggest swinger. You never have been.
What are you trying to tell me, Jerry?
Well, when you were a baby, the only thing that would put you to sleep was Lawrence Welk.
You know, I'm a good man to go ahead and pose in the nude. That is show.
Show who? What?
Some girl offered me $500 to pose nude, to be a nude centerfold in a magazine.
$500 to look at you nude? There's no accounting for taste.
Jerry's his brother. It's in the standard human family bylaws that he has to make cracks like that. But he says, you won't do it, you're chicken. Conservative, square, and chicken. The naughty words are piling up.
John, what are you doing?
I'd like to go to Hawaii.
Yes, he's going to do it. Sally isn't so sure now, but John calls up Kelly and accepts the offer. They'll do this the following day, and they're going to make what may be the biggest mistake they'll make in the entire series.
He's going to be what?
He's going to be the centerfold in a magazine.
John?
You think it's a bad idea?
No, I think it's just great. I can't wait for that issue.
What does that mean?
Well, I just mean it'll be such a kick seeing John in that. Well, seeing John.
Yes, they're telling everybody. You don't want to do that, and she's seeing why. Sally says, it's a little weird that you're getting so excited about the prospect of seeing my husband's body.
Well, you always said you wanted me to get to know John better. This is my chance.
Going to lunch.
John isn't faring any better at work.
And Mr. Winthrop called. He wanted to talk to you about the Bar Association dinner.
Fine. Anything else?
Yeah, a message I don't quite understand. It's from a Ms. Kelly Hanley. She said to bring 2 changes of clothing and a large sponge for the shower. Do you understand that?
Yes. I think so.
That's nice. Angela is going to stand there smiling until she understands it too. We met Angela in episode 3 when she was helping set up a surprise birthday for Sally. She'll be around periodically until the end of the series. Stephanie Edwards started out going the character actor route, but around 1998 she took a gig at a local TV station in LA and had her own talk show. As far as I know, she's still doing it. She and Bob Eubanks also narrated the annual Tournament of Roses parade for their station until they both retired from it in 2016. I wasn't able to find out what she's doing now, but I hope she's enjoying life. She seemed to enjoy playing Angela, especially right now.
I've been picked to be next month's centerfold in Woman's Place magazine. Are you all right, Angela?
Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to unscramble my brain. Well, that's fantastic.
It's really nothing. Well, it's something.
John, when she said that's fantastic, she meant the idea, not... I think he just realized that.
Angela, would you send those letters out right away?
Yeah. John, we've never had a celebrity in the office before, you know. It'll be like working for Burt Reynolds.
You knew the name drop was coming sooner or later. The same year that he did the centerfold, Burt Reynolds had already co-starred in Deliverance, the movie that pretty well clinched his fame and really got him noticed. Everybody in the industry figured he was a natural choice to be nominated for an Oscar. He wasn't. For the rest of his life, he blamed that photo spread and believed he shot himself in the foot. I don't know whether that's true or not, but the snub hit him pretty hard. Thankfully, he recovered and went on to give us decades of enjoyable performances. As far as I can tell, John just wants to be the square lawyer who did one crazy thing in his life to prove he could.
Hi, Angela. Is John in?
Hi, Sally. He certainly is. You must be so proud of him.
Oh, I am.
I mean, being chosen out of all those bodies. I always knew he had brains, but I can hardly wait for the poster.
What poster?
Well, they blow up the photos and sell them as posters. I know just where I'll put mine.
I'm going to see my husband.
You're not the only one.
She's having major second thoughts about all these other women fantasizing about her husband's body. John's mind is going to a somewhat different place. Even supposing you did get that popular, John, they do these things with your clothes on.
Marvelous seats.
Naturally.
Okay, I've had nightmares like that.
Well, I suppose you'd like to talk about that centerfold, huh?
Sure, fire away.
Yeah, I have got a couple of questions.
Go right ahead. I have nothing to hide.
That's obvious.
If he can tear himself away from Merv Griffin, she's inviting him to lunch.
Have a nice lunch. Watch the calories.
Hi, Mr. Burton.
Hi. See you later, Stella. I said, see you later, Stella.
And I said, which is the nicest thing I can think of.
Unfortunately, Stella is a one-off character. Too bad. I would have liked to see her opinion about several other things about John and Sally. She kind of reminds me a little of Miss Emily in Kolchak. As the time to do this gets closer, they're both having second thoughts.
All of a sudden, you like the idea.
So I like it. What's wrong with that? I mean, everybody wants to do something that makes them stand out in the crowd. Did it ever occur to you that what I'm doing may have some redeeming social value?
Redeeming social value, John. You're posing for a magazine, not Michelangelo.
Wait a minute. I'm not the one who wanted to do this. You the one that talked me into it.
What?
You said I was square.
I like you that way.
Not just she. Everybody is telling him he's square. As I said, he wants to do one crazy non-square thing just to prove... To prove what again?
What does this mean? You're going to do it out of stubbornness?
Stubbornness, pride, vanity, call it what you like.
Okay, I pick vanity.
Okay, vanity, so be it. In a way, I do this for the same reason. I'm just egotistical enough to think I have something to say that might actually interest you. And as we close in on the mark, I'm realizing that some 10,000 of you think so too. I've been a wordsmith since I was about 5 years old, but I can't find the words to tell you how that feels. I'll have more to say about it when we hit the mark, because right now, I'm not sure I can.
Sally, if you're so worried, why didn't you go to the session with him?
Because I'm not his mother.
You'd never know it. You're acting like it's his first day of school and you're looking for the yellow bus.
Well, naturally, I'm anxious to find out how it turned out. What are you doing here anyway?
In case of emergency.
What emergency?
I thought if the star got sick or something, I could step in and volunteer my body.
Jerry's such a giving person, isn't he? John is home. He hasn't said anything yet, but Sally is laughing.
Sally, it's not funny.
John, I'm not laughing at you, really, I'm not. I'm laughing at me, John. I'm laughing at me.
I'm not laughing at anything because I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, they did something outrageous.
They did? What did they do? Did they do something pornographic?
Worse.
Oh, now I'm beginning to get interested.
They rejected me.
Turns out it was an audition. He was one of 4 guys that Kelly approached, and she chose one of the other guys for the actual shoot.
Boy, if you're a loser, I'd like to meet a winner.
Oh, honey, I think they're blind. I just love your body.
Sally, it has nothing to do with my body. It's the way I posed. I tightened up. They said I was wooden.
It's only natural. The first time you pose in the nude, you're bound to feel a little wooden.
We hadn't even gotten to the nude shots yet.
So he poses like a lawyer. Notice that it started out being about extra money to go to Hawaii, but somehow morphed into a thing that took on a life of its own. For John, it was affirmation that he's an attractive, virile man. For Sally, it was the same thing, except he might turn out to be too attractive and virile to limit himself to just her. Sally really was jealous. You can't blame her. They've only been married a few months, and if hundreds of other women start fawning over John, how long before he can't resist? John is understandable. Every man wants to believe he's the dude of his woman's dreams, and not just hers. American culture has created this myth of manhood that centers around your, let's say, your reproductive prowess. Getting an offer like John got is flattering, to put it mildly. In the end, they both decided to compromise their principles for the sake of the money, and we see where it ended up. They don't have the principles or the money, so once Jerry and Ann leave, they have some soul searching to do. Where are the lines that we're not willing to cross? How do we define them, and why? Who wrote the book of love? How many roads must a man walk down? Whatever happened to Tuesday and so slow? What was really in that bulge that Kelly noticed? These are important questions that should keep him awake at night. Crack. Excited about the thing to say that I actually